of the newly constructed edifice.
The Mabushi bus terminal is to serve both inter- and intra-city transportation. In a renewed commitment to addressing security challenge, the FCT administration has rolled out plans to establish similar bus terminals in the satellite communities of Gwagwalada, Kuje, and Bwari.
That the choice of the places where such terminals are to be constructed are influenced by strategic location, commercial viability, and the need to boost economic growth and inclusive development.
This project that we are about to commission is the 5th out of the 17 selected projects completed under the supervision of Mr. Project Barrister Yonsu Wiki. And this will definitely serve as a hub of opportunity.
Yeah, those who are drivers, so that the vehicle you are boarding to go to the other place. Assuming you want to go to Bwari, you can come here. You can go to Kubo. We know the bus. The taxis here will also take you to where you are going to.
President Bola Tinubu, represented by the Speaker, House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas, says the provision of organized and secured public transportation is a bold step of ending informal transportation systems, thereby enhancing urban security and eco-friendly transport system.
With the completion of the Mabushi bus terminal and the Kubo terminal, which has been informed is also ready for commissioning, we are taking decisive steps to bring order, accountability, and safety to public transportation.
The project, installed with modern facilities, was delivered in 10 months. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
Federal government will fast-track approvals for viable infrastructural projects in the country, highlighting the critical role of basic infrastructure for economic development. Vice President Kashim Shettima stated this when he declared open the 2025 Nigeria Public-Private Partnership Summit held at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
This summit brings together stakeholders from government, private investors, development partners, and civil society to co-create new frameworks, de-risk bankable projects, and strengthen institutional alignment towards project delivery. President Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, urged private sector partners to be focused and more committed, noting that Nigeria offers scale, demand, and returns like no other African market.
The National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan 2020 to 2043 remains our blueprint. It is our compass to raise infrastructure stock from the current 30 to 35% of GDP to at least 70% by the year 2043. But blueprints do not build roads. Policies alone do not generate megawatts. Your Excellencies, distinguished gentlemen, these goals require collective action, and that is the focus of the present administration.
Calling for a more strengthened public-private sector partnership that emphasizes innovation, efficiency, commitment, and integrity above mere capital and investments. He reaffirmed that the administration is still fully committed to that very public-private partnership that is passionate about delivering sustainable and inclusive infrastructure.
Government cannot provide all the resources. That is the truth. The private sector must come and share risk and also share profit. And that's what partnership is about. Thank you for providing the platform. And lastly, Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, I want to thank you for the support that you've given to the private sector to excel.
A testament to Nigeria's readiness to lead, not just to follow, in the evolving global PPP ecosystem. Let me at this point assure our local and international investors that Nigeria is open for business, and more importantly, ready for partnership.
This summit is a rallying call for transformation, a platform for strategic convergence, and a bridge between national aspirations and tangible development. From the State House, Abdurrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
The federal government has officially kicked off the Mobility CNG Supply Framework, a strategic initiative aimed at promoting the use of compressed natural gas (CNG) in the transportation sector. The framework, backed by the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative, seeks to provide affordable, cleaner fuel alternatives for vehicles nationwide. Lydia Sampson reports.
Though the framework started on the 4th of June this month, the official kickoff is bringing together key players to deepen awareness and encourage more players to in.
The authority chief executive of the Nigerian Midstream Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Agency approved a concessionary pricing structure for autogas CNG. This allowed autogas CNG to be priced as a strategic industry, much lower than, say, gas for power or gas for industries, enabling as one of the incentives Mr. President has approved for the auto CNG sector. What we are doing here today is to flag off the implementation of that
Natural Gas Initiative. Gas Aggregator Company Nigeria Limited marks a significant step towards operationalizing the framework and ensuring the lower cost of CNG for mobility is strictly for mobility purposes. Various presentations centered on the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative and its progression so far. The need for transparency in the framework processes was also highlighted.
As at this, I'm sure we have about 250 that have the license to, and at the last check, I think we have about 100 the license to operate. This morning, we counted about 51 active stations nationwide that are dispensing CNG into cars as we speak.
Many of the gathering aligns with President Bola Tinubu's commitment to energy transition, economic growth, and climate change mitigation, positioning Nigeria as a leader in a clean transportation in Africa. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
The Senate Ad Hoc Committee oversighting emergency administration in Rivers State has commenced the screening of appointees of President Bola Tinubu into 3 agencies in the state.
And it has to be something that we can defend. We must find that defense, clearly stated in the law. Even if there is nothing in the law saying you cannot appoint from outside of the state, even if nothing says that, we still need to look at it to be sure that it's not something that would be repugnant to public conscience. It has to be something that we're able to defend. That's not in doubt, but your appointment has raised a novel issue for God.
Yakim Man stirred a revolution in the history of our state by shaping the destinies of that the next chapters of your journey overflows with renewed strength, divine favor, and boundless joy. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for believing in us. Happy Golden Jubilee, sir. Signed, His Excellency Alhaji Ahmed Usman Ododo.
Through this maiden edition of a book, Nigeria Media Renaissance is joining forces to sanitize Nigeria's media ecosystem.
Online publication is the future of the media industry, which governments and lawmakers have to support through enabling laws, tax exemptions, grants, among others.
The Minister of Information and National Orientation was emphatic that it is the duty of government to work with credible media groups to tell the Nigerian story in a way that inspires hope.
Once any platform, online platform, is seen to have published something that is fake, we have this penchant to think that, it's just fake news and then it goes on. What is GOCOP doing to check those who are peddlers of this fake news? They told me that not all of them are members of GOCOP. I said, yes, I agree, but it is also an additional responsibility of call them out and say,
following a wave of vandalism, theft, and other security breaches affecting NTA's operations across the country, the Nigerian Television Authority is seeking several ways of protecting its community-based station north due to targeted attacks on equipment and installations by criminal elements. These disruptions have raised concerns about the sustainability of grassroots communication and access to reliable public information.
Assets and infrastructure, in the nation. So we will continue to provide and do our best to protect your equipment. You will have to do us one favor. We know it is very capital intensive now to provide facilities.
A shift towards institutional collaboration in tackling infrastructure sabotage, a growing threat that jeopardizes the flow of credible information. In Abuja, Dennis Temple.
And still on security, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, says the Nigerian Army is taking a proactive approach to media collaboration with a view to building trust and cooperation in the pursuit of national security. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the Army stated this at the training for media operatives in Nigeria, organized by the Army Headquarters Department of Civil Military Affairs. Director News, NTA Headquarters, Halima Musa was among special guests at the event.
These are media executives and defense correspondents at a capacity development program. The delay in timely reportage of events as a result of lack of reliable information from relevant agencies impact negatively on national interests and military operations. This training therefore aims, among other things, to bridge the knowledge gap on the Nigerian Army operations and the need to uphold national security and interest in reporting security-related issues.
The current security landscape of our country necessitates a multifaceted and whole-of-society approach to tackle the ever-evolving threat therein. The military affairs training is an initiative in furtherance of the Nigerian Army's commitment to enhancing civil-military relations and fostering a more informed, professional, and secure information environment.
The forum is also aimed at improving the knowledge and aptitude of media practitioners in military operations to ensure safety and operational security as we jointly strive to uphold security in our dear country.
Media executives at the event harp on the need for timely release of information by relevant military officers to avoid speculation in the era of the social media.
We are not in the business of speculation, but it's always better if the information is granted to the media so that they can report it accurately to the satisfaction of everybody towards achieving national peace.
The program is focused on fostering a deeper understanding between the military and the media, enhancing civil-military relations, promoting national cohesion, and ensuring that the public receives accurate and timely information on military operations. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
You're watching the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We'll be back with more news after this break.
I am Oluremi Tinubu, the global and national Stop TB champion. Many people have asked why I've chosen to champion the fight against a disease like tuberculosis. My reason stems from a deep personal experience. I once had a friend who unfortunately fell ill and concealed the nature of his sickness until it was too late. Eventually, after he passed, we discovered he had tuberculosis. Sadly, due to the stigma and discrimination surrounding the disease, he would not speak up or seek for help. His death was a painful reminder that we could have intervened and saved a life if only we had known earlier. Tuberculosis is an airborne disease that primarily affects the lungs, but can also impact other parts of the body. Being airborne means anyone, regardless of their social economic status, can contract it. In Nigeria, 1 person dies of TB-related illness. Individuals, holders, especially the private sector, to join us in the fight to end TB in Nigeria. Together, we can make a difference. Remember, TB anywhere is TB everywhere. End TB by 2030. Yes, we can.
Welcome back. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, is coming down hard on malpractice, recommending severe sanctions against 11 computer-based test CBT centers and several candidates found culpable of fingerprint infractions during the registration process for the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. The Registrar of JAMB, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, disclosed this in Abuja after a meeting with the affected centers and individuals. Olayinka Ojo reports.
In the past, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board JAMB struggled with issues of multiple registrations by candidates. But with the deployment of technology,
Deputy Governor Yakubu Garba disclosed the official number of the casualties when he received Major Hamza Al-Mustafa, Chief Security Officer to the former St. Mokwa flood disaster that ravaged part of the town.
The Niger State Deputy Governor Yakubu Garba, while speaking on behalf of the state governor, revealed that more than 700 persons are still missing and about 500 houses and shops were affected. The deputy governor also disclosed that the state government is using professional organizations to unravel the real cause of the Mokwa flood disaster.
Present as a government in our position, we have lost 207 persons to this flood disaster. That is formally those that we have taking their corpses were buried there. It's 207. Although in my record we have 206 because they just sent me the picture of the recent corpse. We got from one of the riverbank and used to enlist it into our records.
Earlier, Major Hamza Al-Mustafa, retired Chief Security Officer to the former military head of state, late General Sani Abacha, while condoling the government and people of the state, advised the state government to take strategic steps in town planning in order to avoid reoccurrences.
We are here to most humbly register our condolences over the flood incident that happened in Mokwa, looking at the heavy losses.
Major Hamza Al-Mustafa prayed to Allah for the soul of the departed to rest in peace. In Mina, Mukhtar.
The federal government and population managers are recognizing the importance of sexual education, addressing reproductive health challenges causing high rates of unintended pregnancies, maternal mortality, and sexually transmitted infections. At the launch of the 2025 State of the World Population Report in Abuja, the focus was placed on promoting activities that encourage Nigerian parents to have children they can adequately support with target on achieving an improved reproductive health outcomes. Olusheye Adiagbo reports.
Titled The Real Fertility Crisis, the Pursuit of Reproductive Health Agency, the 2025 State of the World Population SWOP report presents a 160-page analysis hedging a shift in focus from fear of Nigeria's growing population to addressing the unmet fertility goals of individuals and families.
Too often, fertility outcomes are shaped less by free and informed choices and more by economic pressure, cultural expectations, and religious constraints.
We want to preach qualitative reproduction, not quantitative reproduction. We need to address as a nation a huge population. We need to manage it.
These population experts and policy advocates argue that the most effective path to demographic balance and sustainable development lies in empowering individuals with access to accurate information, quality reproductive health services, and freedom to make informed choices, particularly for women and girls, to exercise full bodily autonomy.
We in the National Assembly must resist the urge to begin to control birth through legislation in terms of how many children a couple will have, because this is something that is very difficult to regulate. Some countries of the world have tried it. China has done so, and you can see that it is even not helping them that much. So we want to put more emphasis on education.
It is a choice that we have to give to the family. We're not saying, like he said, pegging a number. No, we're not. But we are giving them the required education so that they can take the decision by themselves, by the family. And once they take the decision at that level, it gets to the community and eventually the state and national level. We have to manage our population in such a way that we create spaces to promote the health of the mother and the child.
The speaker has expressed optimism that all actors involved in population dynamics will reflect on the insights presented in the 2025 SWOP report. They called for collaborative efforts to implement policies and programs that uphold the rights, health, and well-being of every Nigerian. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has rearranged the Bauchi State Accountant General Sirajo Mohammed Jaja before the Federal High Court, Abuja. Jaja was arraigned alongside the Bureau de Change operator Aliu Abubakar with two other defendants at large. The defendants are facing prosecution on a 5-count amended charge bordering on money laundering, stealing and conversion of public funds to the tune of 1.4 billion naira belonging to the Bauchi State government. They pleaded not guilty to the 5 counts, prompting counsel to first and second defendants, Godi Uche SEN and Chris Uche SEN, to pray the court to allow the subsisting bail of the defendants to continue to prevail, and further asked the court to adjournment to allow them study the amended charge. Their plea on the bail was not objected to by the prosecution counsel, Abba Mohammed SEN. The trial judge, Justice Obiora Iguatu, upheld that the subsisting bail of the defendants should continue and adjourned the matter till July 21, 2025 for commencement of trial. Meanwhile, as Nigeria embarks on a journey to strengthen its identity management and boost national security, stakeholders from various sectors are coming together to discuss the activation and implementation of the local government proof of address system. This initiative promises to provide citizens with a verifiable and secure address, enhancing administrative processes and economic planning. Shehu Mohammed Dati reports.
The proof of address system reflects President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's steadfast commitment to tackling the nation's key challenges while laying the foundation for a safe, efficient, and prosperous Nigeria.
All members should team up and participate. They should take part in all the deliberations that will lead us to a successful program.
These are stakeholders in various states in the north. So we are discussing all of that. Areas with peculiar challenges of insecurity, we will sit on a round table, discuss with stakeholders, including the governors.
Absence of a digitized and harmonized address system in local government is believed to make it impossible to generate a reliable database needed for policing, tax administration, healthcare delivery, and electoral transparency. The local government approval address has a primary goal of boosting national security, enhancing economic planning, and strengthening national identity management by providing citizens with a verifiable and secure address. In Abuja, Show Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
From Kogi State, operatives of the Civilian Joint Task Force, comprising hunters and the vigilantes, have apprehended 16 suspected bandits believed to be terrorizing communities at Bunu Forest in Kogi West. Ajibola Christopher reports that the suspects were brought to Odoakbe, Kababunu local government area of Kogi State by the task force.
Following the high rate of kidnapping in recent times in Kogi West, the state government Civilian Joint Task Force with useful information penetrated the Bunu Forest and arrested the suspects operating along the Obajana-Odoakbe route in Kababunu town and other parts of Kogi West.
Some of the kidnappers were being arrested, and some are, like yesterday, we went to operation during 8 o'clock in the night, and suddenly at Igori Forest. Yesterday we arrested 6, and totally right now here behind me now, behind the mark now, you can count, is almost 16 people.
State Security Advisor to the Governor, Jerry Omodara, who was at the scene where the suspects were gathered, says Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo has put in place machineries to tackle and apprehend bandits through its borders, noting that some of the suspects have been given useful information regarding kidnapping and killing of a notable personality in Odoakbe, Kababunu land. He pointed out that they will be handed over to security agency for interrogation.
Malam Nuribadi have taken the issue of Kogi, just like any other state, very serious in deploying capital asset, helicopters, drone to tackle the issue. We came together, and the deployment of our Kogi Vigilante Service, the Hunters Group, as well as several other Hunters Group, JTF, into these communities. And in the last 2 weeks, over 26 kidnappers, informants have been arrested.
The apprehension of the suspected bandits in Kogi State is a commitment by the government to flush out banditry in their hideouts. Ajibola Christopher, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Nigeria is set to make waves hosting top mines in the maritime sector from West African countries and beyond on World Hydrography Day, to be anchored by the Nigerian Navy in Abuja. The Navy says the event will unlock a future of safer navigation, stronger security, and a thriving blue economy. Defense correspondent Najatu Tijani reports. Just been told that that report will come as soon as it's sorted out. The Nigerian Air Force has deployed additional air assets under Operation Wellstroke as part of sustained efforts to restore peace and stability across the North Central region. A statement by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ehimen Ejodame, indicates that this strategic move reinforces the NAF's commitment to enhancing security, supporting ground operations, and reassuring communities affected by banditry, kidnapping, and communal unrest. To assess the effectiveness of these expanded efforts, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, conducted a first-hand evaluation of air operations under Operation Wellstroke. He revealed that the newly deployed air assets have been successfully integrated into ongoing operations, delivering real-time intelligence, surveillance, armed reconnaissance, close air support, and precision strike missions. With remarkable success, the Nigerian Air Force will continue to deliver timely, decisive air support in synergy with sister services, ensuring the protection of lives and properties while advancing its mission of restoring peace to the Middle Belt and beyond. The service chiefs jointly emphasized the importance of synergy among the armed forces and other security agencies noting that jointness remains a cornerstone for operational success under Operation Wellstroke. The Nigerian Air Force Wives Association, NAFOA, is leading the call for urgent actions at all levels to combat desertification and enhance food security. Defense correspondent Olajide Bello reports that NAFOA President Rekia Abubakar, at the commemoration of World Day to Combat Desertification and Drought, believes this will attract more youth to productivity and reduce the vulnerability to communal grievances and food shortages in the country.
Under the blazing sun of Abuja, the grounds of the Nigerian Air Force Base echoed with purpose the World Day to Combat Desertification and Drought, and the Nigerian Air Force Officers' Wives Association, NAFOA, stood proudly at the forefront of environmental advocacy. Led by their national president, Rekia Abubakar, NAFOA gathered in unity not only as wives of servicemen, but as protectors of the future. According to her, desertification does not ask for permission, and drought does not knock before it enters. The air bursts with energy, not just from the heat, but from a growing sense of shared responsibility. NAFOA's initiative extended beyond speeches. It became a call to action, a movement grounded in care.
It goes a long way in alerting them on the need to act. For example, this particular issue, a lot of people believe, oh, it's just an environmental issue. But when an individual partakes in an act and we have a ripple effect, I think it goes a long way. So that's what we are advocating. Individually, we should do something so that at least together we'll have a change.
And in that dry, warm air of Abuja, hope began to grow. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Our earlier report that Nigeria is set to make waves, hosting top minds in the maritime sector from West African countries and beyond on World Hydrography Day, to be anchored by the Nigerian Navy in Abuja, is now ready.
From dismantling illegal refining sites to regulating crude oil loading platforms, naval operations are crucial to safeguarding Nigeria's energy resources, which can also be found in the sea. This makes the theme, Seabed Mapping, Enabling Ocean Action, apt for this year's World Hydrography Day celebration, anchored by the Nigerian Navy.
Last year, we celebrated the role of hydrography in maritime safety. This year, we took a bold step by addressing regional gaps and aligning with global frameworks as well as regional frameworks. In 2025, we aim to firstly strengthen regional collaboration through the Maiden West African Hydrographic Summit, foster joint surveys, and sharing data platforms, both virtual and in situ.
World Hydrography Day is celebrated annually on June 21. Nigeria, which has contributed 85,000 square nautical miles of the 26% global ocean mapping, will be marking the day with a series of events anchored by the Nigerian Navy, including lectures, screenings, and knowledge-sharing sessions. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
Now, on the Corps Marshal, Federal Road Safety Corps FRSC, Shehu Mohammed, has issued a stern warning to motorists to pay their fines to designated banks and stop attempting to bribe its patrol operatives, nor entice them with financial benefits as well as other gratifications when arrested for violating traffic regulations. He maintained that FRSC has a zero-tolerance policy for bribery and corruption, and it is completely against the values, ethics, and standards operating procedures of the Corps. He maintained that any motorist found attempting to bribe FRSC personnel will be arrested and prosecuted in line with extant provisions in the Corps Establishment Act 2007, as the Corps does not and will not tolerate any form of corruption whatsoever. You're watching the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Here is a quick recap of our major stories. President Tinubu flags up construction of new national headquarters, new INEC National Headquarters Annex, promises to strengthen the institution for democratic growth.
It's fully equipped, not only in infrastructure, but in law, policy, and resources.
Vice President Kashim Shettima urges the private sector to partner with government in ensuring prosperity for all. JAMB recommends severe sanctions against 11 CBT centers and registrants over fingerprint violations. Population managers encourage Nigerian parents to have children they can adequately support.
This is NTA News 24.
Now, Joshua Ayenuru, popularly known as J. Jaws, the official barber to Nigeria's Super Eagles, is attempting to set a Guinness World Record for the longest haircut marathon. Supported and organized in collaboration with the West African Action Network on Small Arms and the Africa Civil Society Forum, the event is taking place at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja. Suleiman Abdul Wahab reports.
80 hours already, and we are going to 154 hours as the longest premium haircut in the world.
The record attempt is Ayenuru's barbing brand, T-Jaws signature. The initiative aimed to showcase African talents on global stage.
As we speak, I've already won. Today is Saturday, right? As at yesterday, the Guinness World Record team are already demanding for my evidence. So it was so shocking to them that we are not done, you know, because already it's just minimum of 24 hours. But now, as you can see the time, we are in 80 hours now. So I just want to do something because I have a project coming up, which is the 1,000 barbing seats that will be created in all states in Nigeria.
And that is why we are calling on Nigerians to mobilize support for him, for Nigeria to be seen on this global book of Guinness Book of Records.
The event attracted widespread support from key bodies such as the Ministry of Youth, the Ministry of Arts, Culture and Creative Economy, among others, spotlighting the potentials of African youth in craftsmanship and entrepreneurship. Amid the marathon, Joshua Ayenuru also celebrated his birthday, marking the event a double celebration of personal and professional milestones. In Abuja, Suleiman Tabu Abdul Wahab, NTA News.
And that concludes the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Thanks for joining us. I am Stella Inameti.